With the boat show, we are on board the Mills 62 Vismara Yoru, a word that in Japanese means night. It is a boat that we can already say is very fun, but there is much more to discover as well. The hull delivers from the Super Nika, the racing boat that has achieved many victories.
B-Wired è uno degli imperativi della nostra contemporaneità. Non dimentichiamoci di quando Guglielmo Marconi, inventore del
B-Wired is one of the imperatives of our time. Let us not forget when Guglielmo Marconi, inventor of the radio, turned on Sydney's lights, starting the command from his own electroship. A historic quote, but this boat is a good example of how these connections can be used to navigate simply and safely. Do not be intimidated. It is a plus that adds some pleasure to the navigation. Navigation can be controlled via smartphone, tablet, and even through a smart watch.
Siamo di Bolina, di fronte a Porto.
Here we have the wind at our bow, in front of the Porto Redondo. But let me tell you about the performance of the boat as a Garmin system that controls all the instrumentation and even the onboard systems.
Altra particolarità di Yoru.
Another peculiarity of Yoro is that it is a very simple boat to sail. In fact, it is often just the owner with a companion to sail without other guests on board.
I grandi pannelli maxi all'albero consentono a tutto l'equipaggio di vedere le prestazioni della barca.
The big maxi board at the mast allows the whole crew to see the performance of the boat. Thanks to a keypad near the helm, you can choose which screens, what data to appear. But on this boat there is something more, the connection to the devices. In this case, the wristwatch, on which I can see some data shown by the instruments and check some features of the boat, like the autopilot.
Davanti al timoniere I due winch elettrici.
In front of the helmsman, the two electric winches that serve to regulate the sails lift the lines, very easy to use, which goes right along with the philosophy of this boat.
Per gli interni lo studio Vismara ha lavorato a un layout piuttosto tradizionale, cabina armatura.
For the interior, Vismara Studio has decided on a fairly traditional layout. Master stateroom forward with its own bathroom. Of course, two cabins with, in this case, separate twin beds aft. But of course, the owner can choose slightly different solutions. For example, with two double beds instead aft. The kitchen is amidships, as is a tendency these days, to the extreme bow for the crew's cabin.
La necessità di rendere tutto leggero, performante.
The need to make everything light and powerful pushes designers to a minimalistic decor, from interior and structures to the varnishes. But there is no shortage of ritual elements. This table, for example, veneered in American oak, a wood that was used on large schooners that sailed on the Newfoundland banks.
La corsa alla semplicità grazie alla tecnologia non è un'equazione tanto
The path to simplicity, thanks to technology, is not so an easy equation to solve. When this panel is closed, here in the living area you do not perceive anything about navigation. Opening this door, in fact, something jumps out, an electric panel, some instruments, but they are all repeated on the devices, on the iPads and on the smartwatches from which you can control the whole boat. The kitchen is at the centre of the boat, divided into two zones. This helps keep the weights of the provisions. The refrigerators in the centre, in an area where they are less in the way. Here in the corner, a refrigerator freezer area. In addition, 4 fridge cabinets, a stovetop, a comfortable place to cook, and not to lose track of time when cooking the pasta. We can use the countdown regatta of our Garmin.
Stiamo navigando con il
We are navigating with Code Zero, black like carbon, with which the boat, the mast, the boom are built. The sail plan of this Mills 62 features a 100% jib, a roller mainsail on the boom, a Code Zero Angenica.
Una delle funzioni più comode e interessanti dei plotter
One
Garmin
of the most convenient and interesting features of the Garmin plotter is auto guidance. It means that a point that you want to reach, the mapping predisposes and suggests the route to be done. Once you have decided on the route, just click Start Navigation. Then, giving the order to the autopilot, the boat runs the route decided by itself.
Un altro sistema importante che si è diffuso recentemente sui plotter è la possibilità di controllare i dati AIS delle barche che sono
The other important system that has spread recently about the plotter is the ability to control AIS data of the boats that are around. With Garmin, the boats indicated by the red triangle are in danger of collision, which is to say they are located in an area which can be considered risky, dangerous. Clicking on the triangle, you can see the data of the boat or the ship we are observing.
Su questa imbarcazione è montato anche un radar dell'ultimo.
This boat is also fitted with the latest generation of Garmin radar. In addition to sophisticated digital functions, it has this specific function called MARPA, which allows you to identify a target and follow it. It can be useful in a race, but can also serve to avoid collisions.
Con una carena del genere ovviamente viene un po' voglia di fare anche le regate, cosa che
With such a hull, of course, there is a bit of a desire to race, which the owner has already done successfully. Also, the electronics assist us. The Garmin plotter can tell us, for example, best course to reach a buoy. It can assist you with the starting line and a precise countdown.
Ci stiamo avvicinando alla costa. La funzione
We are approaching the coast. The front view feature allows you to look ahead of the boat with the echo sounder, ideal in situations where there are coral reefs, but also in our beloved Mediterranean.
Lui si occupa dei video.
Ah, ecco. Il radiotelefono Garmin in dotazione a questa barca.
The radio telephone Garmin supplied with this boat has a cordless phone that connects to the main unit, a feature that allows you to use the maximum power available, 25 watts, and the antenna on the masthead.